Am I the asshole for saying I won't coddle my infertile sister anymore? My sister, Julie, has tried to have a baby for 5 years. She had a miscarriage 2 years ago and outside that, has been unable to get pregnant. My heart hurts for her. However, one thing I don't agree with is how my family has handled it. We're not allowed to talk about babies around Julie. Any kids younger than 3 can't come to family events that she'll attend. She won't attend baby showers, baptisms, etc. The last one I understand, but the rest feels overkill. I got pregnant last year. I told Julie first and she reiterated her boundaries. I said I understood. The first hurdle came with my baby shower. My mill was throwing it. I didn't expect Julie to come. Then my mom told me I shouldn't have one period, out of respect. I said that was ridiculous. She didn't have to come, so what did it matter? Only 3 people from my side of the family came to the shower. When my son was born, I posted a birth announcement on Facebook. My parents lectured me for this and said it was going to hurt Julie. I said she could just block or mute me. They said I should make the effort. Julie echoed that if I cared, I'd stop. I ended up blocking her just to save drama. My aunt's 70th birthday party is next week. My husband and I plan to go, bringing our son. Julie called and asked if we were going. She then asked for me to get a sitter for our son. I said no. She doesn't want to miss the party. My aunt is one of the few people who agree that Julie's boundaries aren't fair and wants my son there, as she doesn't get to see him often. Julie got upset and started crying, saying that I was unfair. I finally snapped and asked what would happen when she got pregnant. Would we all be expected to shower her with the love and attention she's refused to give other people's kids? Will her baby be allowed to attend events? She said that was different. I said no, I'm not coddling her anymore. My son exists, he's family and he's coming. She can decide if she wants to or not. My parents yelled at me for being mean to Julie. They offered to pay for a sitter but I said no. It's not even her house. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your sister is taking this way too far. Your point about her, possible, child is totally valid. I doubt she is doing this with friends and coworkers. She does it with friends, but she doesn't have many to begin with. They also don't have kids, so it's easier. Unsure about work. Gee, wonder why she doesn't have many friends. Yup. I have a toddler and one on the way, and if I made her acquaintance and she said she couldn't deal with kids, I wouldn't bother to know her any further. I won't pretend my kids don't exist until they are older just to not trigger her. Edit. I say all this as someone who had a full-term stillbirth from a cord knot after years of trying to have a child. I couldn't deal with seeing babies and young children for a while. I let my FB friends know that I was staying friends with them, but for my friends who had young kids or babies I was temporarily unfollowing until I was in a healthier place mentally. I shopped early in the day at the grocery when many parents didn't take their kids out and my husband and I stayed home a lot. I dealt with our infertility and got therapy after our loss. It was hard seeing new babies for a while, but gradually seeing a little one would make me smile a little rather than want to cry. And when my rainbow baby was born I felt like I could smile again without feeling guilt for being happy. The sister desperately needs some counseling and mental health help. I sympathize with her, I really do. Babies made me sad for a long time too, but you can't punish others for something like having children. Not the asshole, good lord. Wow, she's trying to cut off all family event-related contact for your side of the family? She needs therapy badly. That's just so unfair to you and your child and the other relatives who do want to see the baby. Tell your parents that if they want to see their grandson they need to start treating him like a human being and part of the family, not a weapon pointed at your sister. 100% not the asshole. She doesn't want to miss the party. She doesn't have to. Accepting or declining an invitation is her choice, just as it is the choice of everyone else invited. Wow. Just wow. Exactly, she has the choice to go, or not go, but she is expecting other invited guests to not go if they want to bring their children, even though the person throwing the party wants kids there. The sister needs to be reminded, she's not the birthday princess, so has no say in who attends, or doesn't attend. Not the asshole, you're being requested to treat your child like an object that can be hidden, not an individual with the right to make and have his own relationship with his extended family. This is unfair to him, to you, and to your extended family. Julie doesn't have the right to push her boundaries outside herself and her own house. If she doesn't want to be present at parties outside her house where children are also present, she can choose not to attend. She does not have the right to demand that others accommodate her. All of this. These parents need to be addressed. There is no reason for grandma and grandpa to be allowed to berate you for the existence on their grandson. I hope you are LC until they have shown substantial change. Your family are the people who love and support you and yours without strings and ridiculous restrictions. Not the asshole. Julie can't expect everybody to hide away their children or pretend they don't exist just because of her very real pain. Is Julie not going to have a relationship with her nephew? It sounds as though she hasn't really grieved for what she has lost or for her apparent infertility and is allowing that to overtake all of her other relationships. I'm assuming until she has a baby, she won't want to be around him. If she had a child tomorrow, I would not let her and your parents around your child. If they cannot acknowledge him now, they sure as hell should not be around him later. And if your sister ever has a child, everyone she has banished should not show up in her shower. This is ridiculous. I am sorry your parents treat you and their grandson like this. If sister ever gets a child, would the other kids still be banished because all attention should be on her kid? That is a very real possibility. Which they have pretty much banished every child in the family since Sure can't have a kid. I have to commend Op because I would have already flipped out on her sister and her parents. Trauma is not an excuse for the whole world to accommodate a person forever. It sucks what happened to her, but part of learning to deal with trauma is managing triggers. Not the asshole. 328. Holy shit. I did not know they went that high. Oh, and not the asshole. So, your sister is the golden child, isn't she? You're right about what would happen if she got pregnant, but you forgot to mention that she'd expect everyone to coddle her kid to the exclusion of yours. This is an incredibly toxic dynamic for you and your child. I suggest you go full mama bear and cut out anyone who would pretend your child doesn't exist. Also show up wherever you damn well please, because fuck them, your child is not an unsightly blemish to be scrubbed away. The audacity. Not the asshole edit. Do your parents even care about having access to their grandchild? Because if it were me, they'd be losing that privilege real quick. I so agree with this. I'd be done with 90% of that family. And just imagine, all this foolishness would be over if the sister got over herself and him. I don't know? Adopted perhaps? But of course that's just wishful thinking, because people like her would rather have something to complain over and try to garner sympathy. Absolutely not. People who act this entitled shouldn't be anywhere near an adoption agency until they get extensive therapy. Kids need a structured home, not some banshee who thinks the world owes her kids. Not the asshole, as you knew. The world does not revolve around your sister, she is not unique. I have a cousin. Her first pregnancy ended in miscarriage. She recounted how after the miscarriage, the world and all the streets seemed filled with babies and such. And how she forced herself to look into the carriages, and see and admire the babies. I never liked her much, but at that moment I really admired her. And now I still admire her in this respect. I guess it was 40 to 50 years ago. That is admirable. I'm glad she found the strength to face her pain, and continue to appreciate the gift of life around her. Also that she shared that with you, who shared it here. My wife and I celebrated our 25th anniversary last month. We were never able to have children. We're both on the fast track to 50, so that window of opportunity has closed. I won't pretend that the pain of infertility goes away completely. But one of the things I've learned is that infertility must not be at the center of one's life, and like it or not, that is precisely what Julie has done, with the aid and support of your parents. It makes complete sense that she wouldn't want to attend a baby shower. My wife doesn't. It is way over the line to dictate terms to family as to how they should conduct their lives due to your sister's challenges. She needs therapy, and your parents need to stop enabling her. Not the asshole. My husband and I are in a similar situation. I was hurt for many years, seeing announcements and going to showers. I had to put my mind in a place of happiness for others rather than the woe is me attitude, because people are always going to have babies. It has nothing to do with me. I am sad for her sister as she is going to miss out on her nibbling's life. I love my nephew more than anything. I agree she needs therapy. Not the asshole. One of the realities of infertility is that not having children really does free you up to do other things, to serve in ways that you wouldn't otherwise. Example. We can be the cool adopted aunt and uncle and spoil kids rotten. Some years ago some friends put out an urgent Facebook request on Valentine's Day. Their babysitter fell through at the last minute, so could anyone please watch their 2 preschoolers so they could have their date night? I told my wife, and she shrugged and said, hey, why not? So we watched their kids while they went to dinner. And you know what? We had fun. The kids were a hoot. We played Nintendo, and the older girl insisted on me letting her win, which I did, of course. My wife got shrimp from her favorite restaurant. It was a good time. If Julie stays on her present course, she will deny herself all manner of experiences she could have enjoyed if she had made the adjustments to have a full life. It's tragedy upon tragedy. Awesome aunties and uncles, represent! Exclamation mark. Not the asshole. You were absolutely right about the punitive double standard at play, here. You were being treated as a villain for having the very thing everyone wants so much for Julie, a child. Everyone is tiptoeing around Julie's feelings, but what about your feelings or those of your son? It is your aunt's house, she has invited your child and you should feel free to take him. This is exactly what I was thinking. If it ever becomes a reversed situation, I'm sure Julie would be expecting all the love and attention. Original poster is absolutely right and does not need to be sheltering her sister. While I do have sympathy for the sister, kids exist and she can't go around life thinking they're completely avoidable. Edit. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm saying this as someone who's had a recent loss. Pregnancy announcements sting, it's hard to see babies, and I'm not sure anything is ever going to make it hurt less, even having another healthy pregnancy. But you know what definitely won't make things better? Depriving other people of their happy moments. It sounds like you've tried to make reasonable adjustments and be respectful, but you're a parent now. Your baby is no longer hypothetical, he's real and he's here, and that's amazing. Hopefully your sister comes around, but if she doesn't, your son is deserving of being celebrated and you deserve to enjoy this time. You're being mean to Julie? Asterisk, not the asshole. They are being incredibly mean to you, your son, and your husband. You are being dismissed in every possible way because Julie has narcissistic tendencies. Your parents and Julie expect the world to stop turning because the world is not catering to one person. Your sister needs therapy, and it's not fair that the entire family walks on eggshells around her. They need to accept your son is here and deserves to be celebrated, not shunned. I would like to be average height, but in fact I am 5 feet. Can I ban tall people from my world? She is being aided and abetted in not growing up. Life is hard for everyone. Can I join you in that happy world? I've had 2 kids ask me outright today if I'm a midget. I'm 4 feet 11. If I could, I would give you some of my height. It's not always fun, especially when you hit your head if you are not careful. 6 feet 7 here. Not the asshole. My wife and I went through issues. It took us 5 years for our first, and then another 7 for the second, plus a ton of money, so I can empathize with your sister's pain. When we were going through it, every friend's pregnancy and birth announcement brought us a twinge of pain along with our happiness for them. So with this empathy, let me just say her boundaries are absolutely ridiculous. She has absolutely no right to suck away the happiness or the existence of others. You are entitled to share your child with whomever you please, however you please.